Yo, what's up? And welcome back to the Youth of the Nation podcast. Yo, Telyn, some things are
What's
different.
up?
We are not
Yeah,
together. So what's going on, man? Why are we apart this time going around?
this time, it's just some things just fell through the cracks. I actually sat in traffic for about 2 hours today, so
Legend.
it was actually pretty tough, but it's cool. We bounce back, we make it happen, we make it do what it do. So,
Yeah.
but hey, here we are. We're not going to stop. We're going to give people what they want, and we're going to give you guys a good listen tonight, even though we can't be together. So,
Yeah, it's going to be good, actually. I'm kind of excited to kind of record remotely because we just
yeah.
looked into Zoom, and so hopefully this goes well. But so, man, I want to know, like, how have been people talking about the podcast? Like,
So
reception?
I actually had a girl from church. She saw that I posted something about it, and she walked up to me and was like, "I listened to you and Nate." I'm like, "Oh, you know Nate?" And she's like, "No, but I listened to the podcast," and which was really cool. It was a really cool, like, even if it was just one person, it was really cool to hear that somebody out there was like listening to what we had to say. So I asked her what she thought about it. She told me that she thinks that our chemistry is well. We vibe well together, and my stepdad loves it, and so he'll be watching every week. He's a watcher now, and my mom, and so got to get more people in it. But I feel like we did a really good job. I feel like our vibe was well. I feel like Michaela being an addition to it went really well. So yeah, no complaints.
Yeah. No,
What
I thought
about
it
you,
was.
bro? What are you thinking?
It's crazy because I've been doing this for about a year now. It's like old man. But I've been
Yeah.
recording for about a year, and so I've seen the highs and lows of just views and people watching and listening. But like I said, I just got tired of doing it alone. And
Yeah.
like you guys heard, like the audience heard on the podcast last week, like or 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving. I just was like, I want to do this with someone, and I really do feel like our chemistry is something that's good. And so people have just been telling me, and they can tell that they've been waiting for me to do it
Find
with
somebody.
somebody else. So it's actually been really good. I've been excited. I was telling, who was it? I think I was telling one of the interns at my church, but just like I feel rejuvenated about doing the podcast because I'm doing it with somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's a blessing, and I
That's
love it.
huge.
And so
It's
we just want
huge.
to thank y'all for listening. Like
Yeah.
I thank people every week, and it's just been a blast, like getting back to recording, and people are loving it. And so,
We got the new graphic now too, which I'm excited for that to.
they don't even
I'm
have
excited for
that
that
yet.
to. I'm
Hey,
excited for that to be posted, and we'll see where that goes. Man, it's going to be a cool thing when we're actually deep into this thing, and we're getting 150,000 views every Wednesday because
oh,
people love us. You know what I mean?
hey. Hey, let's go. So, yeah, well, guys, hey, again, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about a different couple of things. We're about to talk about the Lakers and how they're the best team in the league.
Of course.
And then we're going to talk about Juice World because it's a topic that's relevant to us right now. And then our lead well young leader topic, or our topic for leadership, is going to be Telyn's idea of your 41. And I'm coming in not knowing it either, so I'm excited to learn from you and glean from you. And so let's get into it, bro. So first, let's talk about them Lakers. Let's talk about
Man,
them
dude,
Lakers.
it's crazy because I have a best friend who is a diehard, like, um, super big into like Seattle basketball. And when Seattle left, obviously, moved to OKC. OKC sucks now, so he's rocking with the Houston Rockets. And it's like, bro, like Houston Rockets are never going to be as good as the Lakers are with Anthony Davis. It's just not going to ever happen. And here we are. Not even partway through the season. What's the record? Like 19-4, 19-3.
21-3.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. 21-3, baby.
It's
Like,
insane.
we're
It's
dominating the
insane.
league. So is John Asher a Lakers fan?
No, so love you, John. But John Asher is a fan of people who win. And
so he was a Warriors fan last year, and he's going to jump on the Lakers bandwagon this
no,
year.
I don't think he's on the Lakers bandwagon because he does not like LeBron. But I think what's happening is that he's this basketball is like he's like, we'll be back next year. We got Clay,
Yeah.
Steph, Draymond's coming back. But I was talking to this with someone. I was like, the Warriors went from the best team in the NBA to the worst team I've never seen in any sport. I've never seen it that. I mean, like the Eagles last year, like did it. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and then were a little bit worse. But like they didn't go from best to worst. They went from best to mediocre. And so
The Rams did the same thing, man. The Rams came in hot from the Super Bowl, and obviously they lost that Super Bowl, so they didn't really win. But they went to the Super Bowl and they came back this year. And what are they, like 7 now and 6 or something? Because they just beat our 8 and 6 now.
8-5 because they just beat
Yeah, because they just beat us. But still, like it's just like they came in not good, and now they're fighting for a playoff spot. Like
yes.
But what do you think about Caruso?
Hey, listen, LeBron posted this
White
picture.
boy
Said
white boy got ups, bro.
He said, "Goat, Brow, and King." That's it. That's the 3 right there. That's the 3.
Dude got uppers, bro. Danny Green missed that 3. He came up out of nowhere and was like, "Yaka."
Yaka. Yeah,
Yaka.
He
bro,
was
that
gross.
was bro, he was disgusting. And I was like amazed sitting there watching the game. I'm thinking like, bro, this Caruso guy is going to change the dynamic of like how the Lakers play, because his energy is just beyond like, I mean, obviously you got Bron who can yam on anybody, and then you got AD who's AD, Danny Green can shoot, but Caruso's energy is just like, bro, you're not finding another white guy in the league like that, dog.
Nope. That boy open. But think about every championship team that we know. All of them have that white boy that just hoops. Like all of them. Even 100%. if it's a white boy from Lithuania, like they have some dude who's gonna just ball out.
What about? Did you see this Lakers game the other night where you had what's his name, Westbrook go up for a layup, right? Westbrook goes up for a layup, and he walks back to the bench and he calls game over.
Oh, I did see that.
Game over, game over, game over. And he's hyped, like, bro, we just won the game. And then his boy, some other dude I can't remember, what's the guy's name on the Sacramento Kings?
Like, it was like Beldovich or something like that.
And he just comes and soaks it. Look, and then he goes like this and was like, I call game. I call game. Tell me that is not the most iconic thing in the world, bro. He walks off and says, I call game. Peep this, bro.
This is the fact of the matter, though. The Rockets aren't – Russell Westbrook and James Harden will never win a championship.
Not together.
Never. I don't think they'll ever win him apart.
Oh, you don't think so?
Because look,
like if James gets a piece around him that's like around him that's like there to support him and not be the star of the show.
Yeah. The year with Chris Paul. The years with Chris Paul to me were like the years they had to win it, especially when they had the Warriors against the ropes. Like, you got to win that series, and they didn't. And I think Russell Westbrook isn't a terrible player. He's in the NBA. I'm not, okay? But what I do think is the issue is that he's just not hooping. Like, he's hooping, but you can drop triple-doubles every night. But if it's not making wins happen, if it's not making dubs happen, then it to me, it does not. I don't care if you drop 60 a night. If you are not winning, it does not matter.
Yeah. But this is for all my people out there that think that like, Telyn's a bandwagon fan. He's only like LeBron. And it's like, bro, I started off in this league not even a LeBron fan. Still to this day, not really a LeBron fan. I started off in this. Bet. That's a topic for a different discussion. But anyway, so I started off a Seattle fan, 100% Seattle fan. Ray Lewis and not Ray Lewis. Ray Allen, sorry, and Rashard Lewis were two of my favorite basketball players, like Seattle Sonics. But once they left, my stepdad was a diehard Lakers fan, so that's all we watched at the house was Lakers. So from 8th grade on, literally, I just fell in love with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. Kobe Bryant was the GOAT. Nobody can tell me nothing else. So I've been a Lakers fan for 10 years plus now. And it's not just like this is through thick and thin. This is like Go Lake show when they were only winning 6, 7, 8 games out of, the 30 that they had played or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we were not good for a very long time, and I stuck through. So now that we're riding and we're good again, I am going to shout Go Lakers a lot more because we're better. Why not? So,
I mean, come on. So
that's
I think
just a PSA. That's a PSA for all of the people who think that, Telyn's a bandwagon fan. Hop up off me. I've been a fan since 2008.
So I think I just changed the video. So the video just changed on people. It had me as a small view and you as like a huge view. And now we're side to side. So I think that'll be better. Um,
Well, there we go.
but that being said, no, I agree with you, bro. So for me, I became a Lakers fan. So my dad is an Eagles fan and a Sixers fan, and so I was like huge into the Eagles, obviously, and
Yep.
huge into the Sixers. And then I watched Kobe, and I was like, this man's incredible. I'm backing up from the camera.
Yeah.
This man is incredible. So I got hooked on, and honestly, they were winning. So they started winning. I hopped on at the perfect time, about like same time, like you're saying, like 08, 09, and they started winning chips. And I was like, well, I made it. Like
Look at us.
I hopped on at the right time. And so
Look at us.
but also LeBron, if you ever see me play basketball, now I'm not LeBron, but like I try to do everything that he does in this game. The fadeaway shot, like I try the way he kicks back and kicks his foot up, like I try to do it all. He was the guy I copied my basketball game, which
Okay, but
great.
let me ask you something. Just a quick question. So when you have a balled up piece of paper and you're shooting it into the garbage can, what do you yell?
I yell Kobe. Okay, that's obvious. That's obvious that I'm yelling Kobe. It's no one goes LeBron. Now, if I'm dunking on you,
Exactly. No one goes LeBron.
if I'm dunking on you, I'm yelling LeBron.
No one grabs the basketball and they're like, LeBron, Jordan. It's always Kobe. Why? Because
right.
Kobe was a walking bucket, baby.
So, you know what? Let's just do it because we got time. I got time today.
Kobe was a walking bucket, bro. Kobe's the best Laker.
Okay. I mean, yes. Okay, that's true. But who's the greatest player of all time? We're gonna get into it.
Michael Jordan.
All right, so I got a question. LeBron wins a chip this year and wins league MVP and finals MVP. Just saying if he does, right?
Okay.
I think he's tied. I think he'd be tied with MJ and MVPs at least, or something. Anyway, all I'm saying is, what does LeBron? Because I think LeBron is closer than people are saying. Because what we can't say is Michael Jordan's untouchable.
No, I wouldn't say untouchable. I wouldn't say he's untouchable.
Because I think LeBron's closer than a lot of people are giving him credit for. He has, to me, at least 5 years left in the tank. And so that's 5 years, especially with this team. I mean, now we don't know what AD is going to do next year.
But Michael has done more in the time of the league than LeBron has for the time he's been in the league.
I'm just saying, though, but longevity has to do something. Now, obviously, LeBron came in at 18, so we had more years. And so, like, my argument is I never watched Michael Jordan play. That's now my guy. So when people are like, he's the GOAT, I'm like, to you, but I never watched his games. I watched whose games? I watched LeBron James. That boy was a walking
Very
bucket.
True.
If
but
he's
that's
dunking on
the
you.
thing, though. Like, I've never watched Larry Bird play, or I've never watched. I've never watched Michael. I've never watched Michael Jordan play, for that matter. But I'm just saying, like, there's things that he has done that are just like, what? You know what I mean? Like, the guy is just he's goat talk, bro. Like,
he's
and
goat
then
talk.
people put on those Facebook videos, and they're like making these compilations of him. Oh, look at the D he's guarded by. Nobody's guarding him. Look how easy, bro. You pick the easiest plays. I don't know if you've even seen that video.
It's because nobody could guard him. Nobody could guard him.
Exactly.
It's the same thing when people say, well, LeBron's just too big. Like that's his body. I was like, because he is a human specimen and worked out that way, and God granted him with his body. He gonna use it. He gonna hoop.
No, very true. Very true.
All I'm saying is, in the GOAT conversation, obviously for me, I'm saying LeBron is close. He is my GOAT, and I just think, man, if he gets the chip, the MVP and the Finals MVP, and when he passes MJ in points, I don't know, man. Or he did pass MJ in points, I think. But I don't know, man. I'm just like,
I guess we'll see, man. I think
it's close.
It's a lot of there's a lot of talk behind that one where you can talk up stats and stats mean a lot. And then you can talk up championships, and then people have more championships than Michael. So are they better than Michael? So there's so much that goes into it. But personally, just the way Michael finessed the game, I just feel
He
like
did.
personally he's the best, you know? Like,
And he made the game what it was for
yeah,
LeBron,
people
for
can people
Kobe,
competed
for
to be people competed to be Michael. Like whether or
no,
not you like
yeah,
it, like people wanted to be better than Michael. Like LeBron James wants to get his name better than I mean, he's already doing things that Michael has, you know, he's already superseded Michael, but like he wants to do things that Michael couldn't do. So he's out trying to do what the GOAT already established.
I know, man. But the cool thing is he's doing it a different way. He's doing it. Man, this talk is gonna go on forever, right? Like no one's gonna ever be like,
Nope.
It's gonna go on forever. And so
Exactly.
I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. But that being said, Lakers, hey, we'll see y'all in the Western Conference. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. We're taking on all bums. We want the
I
Clips.
think we're winning. We're
we
taking
want the
championship
Rockets
this year.
We want the what? Wait, we want we want everybody. And
Speaking of Clippers, before we switch topics, I just really want to say that I'm not a huge fan of Patrick Beverley at all.
No. I mean,
I think Patrick Beverley is just a wild child. I think he's too.
He called him a wild child.
His defense is good. I think the guy is a good basketball player, but like he's the kind of guy that if I stepped on the floor and I'm playing him, we would probably go blow to blow. Truthfully, just because he's too much. Am I wrong?
He is a lot. He's a lot,
man. He's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
go Lakers.
Go. Hey, that's what we're in with. Go Lakers. Because honestly, we have a lot of people who do not care about this conversation, but they're gonna have to deal with it because it's our podcast. And so, now that we're talking about the Youth of the Nation podcast, we're gonna go into a little bit. This is a terrible transition. Terrible transition. But Telyn brought up the idea. Hey, let's talk about Juice WRLD. Let's talk about what happened. I don't know a lot about the situation, so I don't know if you know more about the situation.
Well, I know enough to say that drugs were a big factor into why he is not with us anymore. I know that lean plays a big factor in why people have seizures at young ages, and that goes to say for Rick Ross and Lil Wayne and all those other rappers and artists that do lean and have had seizures because of it. And it's one thing where you get a rapper like Juice WRLD who was woke and he was smart and he was intelligent and he had his head on his shoulders, but he was trying to be a part of the game, you know. And I felt like, you know, artists deal with stuff that we as people don't know because we're not artists, you know, like we're not celebrities. We don't have a million cameras in our faces, so we don't know what it's like to be in that limelight. So they handled things in different ways, but I just feel like as people who are leaders in this community need to say, like, dude, that stuff is not tight, like, at all. And we're losing people at young ages, and it's just not cool. Drugs are taking people out. Little Peep died from a drug overdose, and then Mac Miller died from taking drugs, and then Juice WRLD died from a seizure because of drugs. And it's just like we're losing too many people. And I think that there needs to be a message from somebody who has their head on their shoulders, not perfect, but has their head on their shoulders, saying like, this is the example that we're getting, so let's not follow that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that sucks. That sucks to see somebody like Juice WRLD go.
Yeah, and I think it's also a question of like, it's a mix of culture or what it is today, because again, I've heard this said a lot lately. We are the most connected generation, but the most separated generation. And so we have a lot of people who feel like they're connected and feel like, yo, look what I'm doing. But in reality, you have a lot of people who are depressed and are alone. And so I would say, like, respect to like the people that they've impacted. But like you're saying, like, it's just, there has to be a message, and good thing we know the message. I think it has to be a guy that's that age, that's making music like that, but is sharing a message of Jesus, like, honestly, straight up, like, or a message that is, yo, I'm in the game, but I'm not. Because you hear, I don't know if you heard the guy, but one of the guys after Juice WRLD passed said, hey, drugs aren't cool. And I was like, we knew that. Like, you don't.
Yeah, that's not something that we are learning today. But I think that now that this is happening, it sucks that it takes someone passing away for people to be like, hey, drugs aren't cool. But if that's what they're going to do to let kids know, like, hey, don't do drugs, then I'm all for it.
I'll
Like,
take
I
it.
saw
Yeah.
Trippie Redd. He's another artist who hopped online and was like, we're not doing it. He mentioned another drug that he's going to continue to do. But he's like, we're not doing it anymore. We're done. And it's like, no, that should have been the message back when Little Peep died, not just
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, but there's so much that goes into that. There's a lot of people who do drugs, not even artists. There's a lot of people that do drugs. And it's just one of those things where, in this culture, like you said, culture,
Mhm.
it has a lot to do with just, whether or not you want to call like weed a gateway drug or whatever. It has a lot to do with people starting off doing small things. And it turns into things that, like depression, anxiety turn into things where they're taking Xanax pills and popping Xannies and drinking lean and hanging out because it's the cool thing to do, and half the
Hey,
time they
bro, you're
don't want to do
talking
it.
about these drugs and like, bro, I'm just playing. You're
But
like,
I'm
hey,
just saying though,
anything.
it's just it like, but you hear about it in today's music. That's literally what's talked about.
Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. All right,
Yeah,
because I think we have to be very careful with the way we use. And again, rest in peace. And it's sad. And I'm not trying to like. I'm gonna sound like a jerk, and you can like kick me off the podcast if you want. But I think we got to be careful with the word legendary and careful with the word of impact. Now, I believe that there's impact that there was in people's lives, but the word legendary, and it's not that I have beef with the word legendary. I have beef with how we put these people on platforms uh,
gotcha.
to kids, and we're like, yo, and again, rest in peace. I get that, but I just think when we put platforms ahead, like when we put platforms on people, or we even before they pass away, and we look at like what they're actually saying and singing or rapping about, and before we catch ourselves, we're like, oh man, our kids are doing this and doing that, and I think it's because the platform that we give people, and so I just think it's sad that happened, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna show fake love like I feel like a lot of people do. I didn't listen to his music. And so that being said, I see the impact because I'm on Twitter. People are like, yo, rest in peace. And I see the impact. But for Nate personally, I don't, I'm not like, man,
Totally.
music was legendary. And because that's what they did with Nipsey Hussle too, right? It's like all these kids were like, yo, man, I've been listening to Nip forever. I promise you, okay? Nipsey Hussle is a legend. But there's very few people who actually listen to Nipsey Hussle. Why?
Very true.
Because Nipsey Hussle he's not underground, but he was banging. But there's not
Yeah,
people who are
he
like,
was
I'm
never
up Hussle until Grinding on
Nipsey
My
Hussle
Life
was
came out. And
Nipsey
that's
Hussle
when,
was never really a mainstream artist either. Like he
mhm,
was very, very low key. Like he never had. I mean, he didn't really have songs on the radio. He was never that guy that was like out there, out there. You know what I mean? He was definitely popular. Don't get me wrong. People loved him. And what he did for the culture, what he did for his city, whole different story. But like, he was never that guy when it came to like radio music and selling out arenas. And you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like Nipsey Hussle is a phenomenal artist, bro. Like diving into his music after he passed away because I listened to Nipsey when I was in high school, and then once I graduated, it kind of like fell off because I listened to a lot of his older stuff. But I didn't really start jumping back into it until he passed away, and then all those old songs came back, and you're like, this is why he's not mainstream because he talked about things that
yeah.
weren't mainstream. You know what I mean? Like he talked, and people don't want to hear that kind of talk. People want to hear what Juice WRLD was speaking on, and like you know what I mean? Like, it's such a different vibe. But yeah, go to Legendary. Legendary. Juice WRLD's music was not legendary. Juice WRLD was not a legend, but his music did impact people. So I
His
totally
impact was
understand.
great. Won't even deny, and I'll never
I
deny that.
totally understand what you mean when you say that. But we can't call everybody a legend that passes away. We can't.
We can't. So I think we just got to be careful because
Yeah.
like when I think of legendary, I think, and again, I'm thinking of my view of music and what I enjoy, and like the dudes like Trippy and all that music. It's just not music I enjoy. I just don't. I'm not like, yo, that's
I
tight.
don't. But being connected to social media, you hear that stuff randomly, and so that's how. I
Yes,
mean, bro, you can check my playlist. I don't listen to that stuff. I listen to Juice World.
he listens to Lainey and Harry Styles.
There you go. But like, it's just one of those things where like
Yeah,
Juice World was not like top 5 on my playlist, but like if you check my playlist, he definitely had a couple songs being played. Like, so there was not like an impact on my life, but um, it's just sad, man. The drugs have to be
it's
put.
and that's the part. Like,
The
obviously,
drugs have to be put
I'm
down.
getting into nuance, but it's just sad that you have. And you know what? Since this is a Youth of the Nation podcast, the reason that I think we bring this up is because a lot of people see like signs of like where people are like not doing the right thing,
Mhm.
and we don't call it out. And so before it's too late, I was just listening to my pastor today, and he said, if you wait to get help in crisis, it's too late. Because you're in crisis. You've either fallen or you've been hurt or you've hurt yourself. Like, there's no way outside of crisis. And so I just think it's true. I think we have to be able to find kids, find students, find young people, find peers, find older people, and say, yo, I'm in crisis, or I see that you're in crisis and I want to pull you out of it now.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting till I see a hashtag and it's your name. Because my biggest prayer with any student I have is I do not want to see your name as a hashtag or your face on a t-shirt. Like, that's
Crazy.
just not where I want to be at. And so
Yeah.
I think we gotta, if we're going to talk about the youth of the nation, kids
Yeah.
are going to be susceptible to whatever they see. TikTok is huge. Why? It's because they see it. It's quick. It's fast. So trends happen. You have dummies like standing up over a camera, throwing things up and hitting their heads. Why? Because they're seeing it. It's happening. And so,
Yep.
yeah. So
The
I don't
share
know, man.
challenge. Like, everything catches on to young people, and they grasp it. They hold on to it, and it's something that they want. They want to feel that excitement of what everyone else is doing, and so that's why I feel like when you get moments like this and you can have conversations like this, it's best to talk about like what's important. So Juice WRLD, he passed away. He passed away because he was on drugs. Kids, please put the drugs down. It's not cool.
Put the drugs down. Amen, bro. Amen. I think there's change. Change is going to happen. Jesus said so. Jesus said it
Yeah.
was going to happen. But we got to continue to do our work because we're fighting a different battle than they fought in music and culture 5 years ago. Like, it's just different.
Crazy,
And
right?
so, and the crazy thing is rap culture has always been the same to me, of like glorifying drugs and glorifying like the bad stuff. And I just think we just got to glorify the greater God, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, dude, I think I think what you're saying is true, though, is the impact is there, right? But we got to come alongside kids.
Yep.
Outside of crisis, so they don't even get to crisis. And so,
Yep.
But yeah, man. Hey, man, thanks for diving in on that topic. That was a good topic,
For
man.
sure,
I
man.
think that was great. So, hey, y'all, we're going to take a break real quick. Obviously, the video just jumps straight to the next part of the podcast. But for the audio, we're going to go ahead and check out this ad. So thanks for listening, and we'll be back in a second.
Welcome back, Youth of the Nation podcast.
What's up?
Man, we just had some deep conversations, but hey, let's move on to some positive notes. I have a thought, Nate.
Tell me.
So every other week we do someone brings a thought, and last week Nate brought the thought of giving honor and recognition to the people below us and above us, and being thankful. And I was going through my devotions this week, and I'm reading this devotion called "Your 41 Will Come," and I think that it's something that is prevalent to what students are going through right now, especially in the midst of everything that's happening in the industry of music, like Juice WRLD passing, and the industry of politics and everything that's happening in our world right now. It's like we're living in dark ages. When will our 41 come? And the meaning of this is for 40 days and 40 nights, it rained for Noah,
Mm,
right? 41 came and it stopped.
that's tough.
Jesus was tempted for 40 days by Satan. Day 41 came and it stopped,
That's
right?
tough.
David and Goliath, yeah, David was haunted and taunted in his city by Goliath for 40 days. 41 came and David knocked down the beast. So my thought behind this, Nate, and I think you can jump in and speak on this
Mhm.
well, but our 41 is going to come, meaning we're going through hardship and things are going to get hard. My life right now, I've been fighting anxiety for the last 2 weeks and it's been tough.
Mm.
But I'm believing that my 41 is going to come and I'm going to walk out of this because I believe that Jesus has a plan and a purpose for my life and I'm ready for my 41 to come. Nate, what do you think about 41 being a significant number and coming? And it's not about 41. It's more of the thought that you're going to get out of the dark places you're in. Don't give up.
Yeah,
As a leader, how do you walk
yeah.
through that with your students, or how do you walk through that in your personal life?
So I'm speaking at the Washington Family Ranch summer reunion this weekend. Super
Yeah.
excited for it. And I love that thought. I'm actually going to take that, just so you know. But I think it's true. I think we as believers have become professional believers. And so the faith aspect gets taken out because what do? Sunday, we do church. Wednesday, if we have
Yep.
Wednesday youth group, we do church. And then we go through our week and then we'll help out in little events here and there. And think what that takes is it takes faith and it takes longevity. And
Yeah.
that's what it takes for our kids. We have to have faith and we have to have
Yep.
longevity with them.
Yep.
Right. So, because could you imagine, like, I was actually asked my young life guys this. I said, yo, what if you guys were freaking out and then I started freaking out as well?
Wow.
They said, Nate, you're our dude. Like, if you're not well, we know it's not right. Like, if
Wow.
you're not doing good, we know it's not good. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's deep. And so what you're saying is, like, if Nate can't see the 41, they're not going to see the 41.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because Jesus knew, like, bro, I'm about to get out this temptation, no doubt. But as a reader, I go, man, Jesus. And he gets out of the 41 and the angels come take care of him. Like you said, with everything. Like, I just think it's people are going to look at us and say, what are they going to do in the 40? And if the
Yeah.
40 can be leaning on God, when the 41 comes, we know it's coming, instead of kids
Yeah.
going, like, because kids are living every day, like, in the 40th day, like, it's going to happen again and again and again.
Yeah.
Dude, that's good. That's a good
And
thought.
I think that sometimes, I mean, and it's so hard to unwrap it because it's like, man, I find myself going through a 40 all the time. Not a 40 ounce. I'm talking about 40 days of of trouble, but I find myself going through stuff all the time. And it's up to me to determine how I'm going to handle that. So am I going to lean in more to Jesus, or am I going to lean into a vice? Am I going to find myself praying and reading my Bible more? Or am I going to go talk to a therapist about what I need to do to get out of this hump
Yeah.
I'm in? That's all on me to figure out. But I know that in the end, if I put my faith in the higher power, the one who I know can get me out of the situation, just like David did, or just like Peter did when he stepped out on the boat in faith and walked on water. It's all about stepping out in faith. And I know that when I step out in faith, and I believe that Jesus is going to change my heart from the inside out and help me change the kids that are going through that 40 and that 41 come and things in their life hasn't changed. It's up to me now to take on that aspect of, like, hey, I'm going to walk you through this. And you said it clear. You hit the nail on the head when you said, if I'm not okay, they know that it's not okay. But it's also okay to not be okay.
That's true. Yeah. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm like, you got to be okay. But, like, the goal I always realize is that in leadership, like, I think about Jesus, right? And he's Jesus. And when there was something that wasn't okay, the disciples were always looking at him like, what are you about to do? What are you going to do? And what did Jesus always do? He either did two things. He either made it happen, or he told them to make it happen.
Yep.
So he either said, I'm about to get us out this into the 41, or
Yep.
y'all gonna get us to the 41.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
Like I love the scripture of the 5,000 of when they're like, hey, you gotta send these people home because we ain't got enough money to feed them. And Jesus goes, you feed them. They're in their 40. They have no idea. They're just kicking it with Jesus. It's not even the 40 of suffering. They're just kicking it. They don't even know they're hungry anymore. They're just chilling, right? But these people are going hungry. And as they're looking at like, yo, we got to get out of this because we don't have enough money, Jesus says, no, you guys do it. And so I think, because what I'm learning in my therapy is like, I have to start taking initiative over my life. Like I have to go, no, it's not okay. And I have to like make it happen. I have to work on it. And obviously with the faith of Jesus, but I just think there's a theme in scripture that's this idea of like, God's with you, but what you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do?
So good. So good.
I don't know, man.
And then
you
start thinking about like when you think about the 41, you break down each one of those stories, and like with David and Goliath, that's a beast in his life that he had to take down. And so you talk about that aspect of God being with you. What are you going to do with it? Jesus was with David the entire time. He could have did it on the second day, but it took him 40 days to figure that out. You know what I mean? Jesus was with him the entire time. What are you going to do with it? So how long are we going to sit in the midst of like the darkness we're going through? When are we going to let Jesus overcome that feeling of, hey, I'm stuck? It's like, nah, what beast are you facing? Is it your parents? Is it relationships? Is it, sickness? Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Like, what is it that you're going to allow Jesus to walk you out of? And I think that right now with that 41 coming, it's time for us to buckle up and say, God, I'm struggling, but here I am. I'm about to walk out. I think that's the biggest part of when I think of the 41 will come, meaning you're going to get out of any situation you're going through because you got Jesus with you. So.
Yeah, dude, that thought is good. And I just think if we can encourage youth leaders and youth pastors, I would say, realize that we know, like one of my early talks was the idea of ministry anxiety or like ministry burnout. And so you might be in your 40 right now. Like, yo, I don't know how I'm about to get to this next week. I don't know how are they going to keep paying me. The church can't keep it, like just like crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like hear what Telyn is saying. The 41 is coming. It's always coming. I think, like I said, with professional Christianity, we're just like, well, this is life. I suffer. Yep. God told me to suffer. I suffered. This is what God wanted me to do. And I was like, no, God sent Jesus for a reason. Like he sent his son, like his son was here for a reason. And so, yeah, man, I just think I'd say youth leaders, youth pastors, when you're almost at the end of your rope,
the 41's coming.
This was good. Hear this. Another thing from my pastor. He says, when you're at the end of your rope, grab somebody else's rope and tie your rope to it and keep going.
Wow.
Right? Like we're at the end of our rope. What do? We usually go, well, I made it to the end. But there's always somebody else who's pulling the rope a little bit harder than you, who's a little bit further along and can say, oh, let's tie it. You come with me.
Yeah. And I always had my pastor, my mentor told me, find somebody whose life you want to be like, and follow what they did. So in my eyes, I got a couple of pastors who are married who I'm like, I want to be, when I get married, exactly who that person is. So, hey, yo, let's sit down, get coffee, talk to me. What are you doing in your world right now that is helping you get through what you're going through? How is your marriage so strong? Because I need that aspect. So I think it ties along with when you find that rope of somebody else, follow them. When you are seeing somebody else who's killing it in life, grab a hold of who they are and not saying like pick up everything that they're doing. But when you find somebody who's got it right, why not chase what they've already done? So that way you're not making those same mistakes. So, yeah.
That's good, bro.
That's good. Man, that 41 will come is still something that is going to sit with me for a while. And hopefully I get to preach that at Undivided soon, Taylor, if you're listening to this.
Hey, Telyn's a preacher. For real.
Taylor, hit me up, dog. So,
Hey, Taylor, swing the check. No, I'm playing.
what's good?
Swing the check, though. Where the shoes at? No, I'm playing. But yeah, man, that's good. Thanks for that thought. That's going to encourage some people. I hope it does. Like, yo, youth leader, youth pastor, be encouraged. Like, you might hit the end of your rope, or young person, because we have a lot of young people, like you said, young people listening to this. You might have hit the end of your rope. Tie it. The 41's coming, and the angels, Jesus is coming to take care of you. Because also the thing is, God, I know this sounds crazy, but God uses tough times in our lives to teach us, to give us faith. Now, I'm not saying God is going to send crazy death and send all these kinds of things, but what I'm saying is a lot of people say, how could a good God make bad things happen?
Wow.
I say, when you're in the trenches, when it's hard, that's where you learn. That's where you grow.
Mm-hmm.
No one learns math by just knowing it all the time. They have to get a little challenged a little bit, learn it, and then apply it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So,
Wow. It takes practice, bro.
Takes practice. So, hey guys, Telyn was preaching on that thought. Show. So
how to bring one.
Hey,
I'm excited to see what you're bringing to us in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, you came with the heat. So, hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Youth of the Nation podcast. This is our second episode with us two, and I love recording with you, Telyn. Like,
it's so awesome.
I'm having so much fun. So, hey, we pray that this Zoom call goes well. I think it did. It's still recording. We're looking great. And so this episode will be dropping on Thursday. Obviously, you'll all be listening to it. And then we'll be dropping in 2 weeks, every other week. And, hey, if you guys are like, yo, I want this every week, not going to happen. No, I'm playing. We'd love to know. Like, if you think every week is better for you, that'd be – I'm cool with that. We can do that.
Yeah.
That's no issue. Because now we can do these. And so if you guys would be down with that, let me know. And also what we want to know as well is, do you like the Zoom call or do you like the live setting more? I have my own opinions, but shoot, hey, let's be about the people. And so new graphic is dropping. New episode is dropping on Thursday. A lot of stuff is going crazy.
Did you say merch?
I didn't. But sure, we might have to do that.
Youth of the Nation podcast sweatshirt? What?
Yep, we're getting that. I know a guy. We're getting it. Easy.
Yes, sir.
And dad hats?
Dad hats, bro.
All right. Hey, on the way soon, Youth of the Nation podcast merch. We're saying it right now. We said it.
Let's go. It's in there.
We said it. We probably get some people to cop that.
100%. Taylor would.
Easy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, no.
That's big. That's big promotion, bro.
He's like, I'm not spending my money on that. No.
Yeah, you got a third kid on the way too. Like,
not happening. So, hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Youth of the Nation podcast. Yo, what was that thing you did at the end of the episode last time? Was it Jesus is the
Jesus is the only one.
Hey, we love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hey, we love you guys. Peace out.